Why do we do what we do? Why do I care about conversion? Conversion is so critical in every facet. I was telling someone yesterday, conversion is life, but I'll talk about, I'll talk about it more. In our case, we believe that we care so much about conversion because I think that there's so many really good agents, really local, hyper-local agents that miss on a lot of business just because they don't understand the nature of conversion. And I'll give you an example. Just probably a couple of weeks ago, someone walked into an open house and saw a property, walked out of the open house, and called from one of the lead generation websites. And this person went into an open house. There was a person in there. There was a listing agent in there. Didn't get the information about the price. Didn't get information about square feet and whatever. And he called us. And sitting in front of the house at an open house, he's talking to us. And we end up meeting that person, helping them buy that house. So there's a really good agent sitting in that open house that couldn't capture that business, even though the person came in all the way through that open house. So it happens over and over and over consistently. So before I go on, move forward, I want to understand a little bit of the audience. So I'll give you a little bit of a cue. We have a graphic here that talks about different types of realtors. There's a group that's a networker, people that find their business through networking. There's a group who are our networkers, if 80% of your business is from networking. So we have a few. All right, great. And then we have prospectors, the people who are cold calling, door knocking, but actually waiting for someone to come out, not just putting a flyer out. And prospecting expireds and FISBOs. Who does that? Oh, we have a few. All right, cool. And then who are our marketers? The farmers, postcards, All right, we have some. Oh, I have a pretty diverse group here. And then, so who are our converters? People are getting leads and converting them. We have a few. All right, cool. So it's a pretty good mix here. So it's really interesting because every group has its own needs. Every group has its own process. Every group has its own strengths and weaknesses. As we move forward, you're going to understand that. Let's see. All right. So what is conversion in general? Conversion is turning a question in the mind of the client into a lifetime relationship. So if someone walks into an open house, their question is, what does this house look like? What is the price? Does this house work for me? If you're calling on an expired, that expired has a question in their mind, how can I get this house sold? And how quickly can I do that? If you're networking and you're at a party and you have to start a conversation, there's going to be one or two people that are thinking, is this the right time for me to buy? So all these different groups are interacting with people with questions. And essentially your goal is to convert that question into a client, and then from a client into a relationship, a lifetime relationship that's going to generate multiple clients. Does that make sense? All right, cool. So when we're thinking about leads, which what Rich mentioned earlier, there's no such thing as a good lead. So when we're thinking about leads, there are different there are different categories of leads, but in general, the way we explain the difference in quality is by the amount of time it will take them to buy or sell a home. So you might meet someone that just started thinking about it, or maybe having questions with themselves whether this is a good time or not. And then you're going to meet some other people that have been doing the research, have been online, have been talking to agents, have been going to open houses, and already know what they want to do, already know where they're going to go. So those are the top of bottom of the funnel type clients. So in our world, we classify them as an A and B as C. An A is someone who's buying within 30 days or selling within 30 days. A B is someone who's doing something within 90 days. A C is someone who's going to be 90 days plus, and it can be 2 years, it can be 3 years. When we think of leads, these are interactions or impressions with people that come to us. They may buy with us, at this time. They may not. They may go and buy with someone else and come back to us in the next cycle. So we've been doing this for a while now, where we had situations where a lead comes in and we interact with the person, and that person's been talking to other agents, and they go and buy a home with someone else. And actually, this happened last year, recently. So they went, they bought a house with someone else. They sold a house and they bought a house with someone else. And then 12 months later, they came back. And we found that they were unhappy with that home, but instead of going and talking to the agent who just helped them 12 months ago, they're going back online. And so we helped them sell that house that they bought and then buy another thing. And this happens a lot. Recently, we're seeing a lot more essentially shrinking of the time periods that people are owning homes for. So a lot less, people are moving a lot faster than it used to be. So in terms of when you're thinking about lead, that lead, when that lead comes into our world, it never leaves. We are going to try to build that relationship, and we're going to nurture that relationship, whether they're talking to us or not. A lot of times, people come into our ecosystem, and we call them, and we text them, and we email them, and we door knock them, and we do all these things, and they don't do anything. They don't respond whatsoever. And then maybe 12 months later, they call us out of the blue and say, "Hey, that house that you just sent me, I really want to see it." And I was like, "Who are you?" And they talk to you like if they've been in a relationship with you, because they've been seeing your content, they've been seeing. In their mind, they're thinking, I have their information. When I'm ready, I'm going to reach out. And that's what they do. Essentially like collecting business cards. So sometimes they even save your phone and they never talk to you. But just from the tone of your voicemail, just from the emails you send them, just from the text, you sound like someone who wants to come from contribution, someone who wants to help. And so they keep your information, and when they decide to do something, they come back. Sometimes they go and interact with some other agent and they come back. So this happens consistently. So when someone comes into your funnel, there's no such thing as a bad lead. It's just a different incubation time, and it may take 2 weeks, or it may take 2 months, or it may take 2 years. It doesn't really matter. That person has a question in their mind. They're thinking about doing something in real estate, and we're going to be there of service for them. We're going to be available to them, whether it is connecting with them directly over the phone or in person or electronically. So essentially, in terms of like the cycle, this is essentially what we call the customer journey. It starts from the bottom and it goes all the way up. So the first thing that happens is the consumer has to become aware of you. That's the first thing, awareness. So whether it is through digital media, or through open house signs, or through cold calling, or door knocking, some way of prospecting that's going to allow for the consumer to be aware of you. And it used to be that people will remember you, or you would be top of mind with someone if you connect with them, or you touch them about four to six times. It used to be like 4 to 6 impressions, you become top of mind. With all the amount of media, with all the amount of social content and digital media that's happening right now, that number went up to 16. Oops. So that number went up to 16. So it went from 4 to 6 all the way to 16. So we have to be in front of them. We have to do more. We have to do more impressions. If you're doing open houses and you're putting out 10 signs, you should be putting 50. If you're door knocking the house 3 times, you should door knock it 10 times. It takes that many times, that much repetition for people to remember you. The next level is engagement. So we want to make them aware, and then we want to engage with them. So an example, we talk about open houses. By the way, open houses are very similar to online forums. So when someone comes into an open house, it's the same as coming into a site or coming to a landing page. When they come into an open house, you obviously have to have registration. And online, either forced registrations, or there are some sites where you give them two, three pages to see, and then you force them to register. In our open houses, we just force register right up front. Everybody that walks in has to register. We know that we have a lower chance to get them to register after they've seen the house. So So the first engagement is what's communication? How do you talk to them? How do you communicate with them? How do you build a rapport with them when they come into open house? The same thing with the landing page. What kind of information is available to them so they can subscribe, which is giving you their name and phone number and email address. So the next level is converting. So taking that email and phone number and converting it into an appointment. That's where the magic happens. So if we're going to connect with them in person, or we're going to connect them with the phone, we're going to have our process really tight, because everything that we do when we interact with a customer, there are three things that we're trying to achieve. We want the clients to think that we are trustworthy. We want the clients to think that we're cool, that they like us. So there's rapport, and we want the clients to believe that we can help them, that we have the expertise, the knowledge, and the resources to help them achieve their goals, whether they're buying or selling a home. So in that conversion, in that aspect, every interaction that we have with the clients or the potential clients has to add to those three elements, not deduct. So if we're picking up the phone to talk to them, we want to be on point. We want to be positive. We want to have high energy, good energy, and we want to have our script down. And now we will share with you the script. It's very basic. We want to understand where they want to go. We want to understand what their price range, what they're pre-approved or not. And so we'll send you, there's 7 questions that we ask consistently. So we want to be on point with a good tone, with good energy to be able to communicate. It's the same way at an open house. This is pretty much the same exact script that we use on an open house. So when the only thing that changes is the top of the script. Hey, hi, this is Jay with First Team Real Estate. You just inquired about a property on 123 Main Street. How can I help? In an open house, hi, how are you? How do you find out about the open house? Great. I love that you found it on Redfin, blah, blah, blah. What cities are you looking to buy a home in? Open-ended questions. We want to know all the cities that they're looking to buy. So we want to really interact with them in a way that showcases our expertise, our knowledge, and showcases our ability to help them. And then so the next level is excitement. So now that we set the appointment, we have to bring value to get them excited. We're going to bring some beautiful properties. We're going to bring information to make it that it's an easy process. The next step has to be easy. We want to get them into that roller coaster of buying a home. And then so the next level is ascend. Ascending meaning building up that relationship. That's where, now they're a client. You want to deliver a wow experience. You want to do everything you can to differentiate from the other million other agents. You want to be able to build that rapport, build that relationship, bring a lot of value. So the next level is to create advocates. So an advocate is someone that's working at the office, and someone comes to them and asks them a question. Hey, do you know a realtor somewhere? Then they say, yes, I know someone. Let me give you their card or give me their information. That's different than a promoter, which is the higher level of engagement from a client, where the client is actually seeking out ways to get you business. And who has one of those? Who has someone who actually brings them business? Here you go. So those are the best ones. So your goal essentially when we talked about conversion, so our goal is to take a lead or someone with a question and turn them into a promoter. Not everybody's going to be a promoter, but that's our goal. And those promoters are going to go out there and seek out business for you and to help you convert.